And good evening, everybody, and welcome to this special edition of Hawk Talk from the C.H. Fields Craft Kitchen here at the Hilton Garden Inn. It's basketball playoff time, the regionals here in Indiana and at IUP. We're glad to have you along tonight. We have Coach Joe Lombardi with us. We have some other guests that will be coming along the way in our show here. We thought we wanted to add to this because hey, there's all kinds of activity going on right here at the Hilton, right next door. A lot of activity on Saturday with the tournament. Want to remind you about Hilton Garden Inn. They're going to be open for lunch starting March 21st, Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., so mark that down. Coach, good to have you with us again here, and it's great that we can talk postseason basketball after that exciting weekend that we had for the conference. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was a very enjoyable weekend there, Jack, and just it's March 10th, and we got games, and that's always a blessing. And again, we're thankful for the Hilton Garden Inn for what they do for us with that, so we can have this show, and then all the sponsors that are able to put it forth, and so we can share a little bit of inside IUP basketball with the Hawk Nation.
Yeah. What's it been like the week after all the dust cleared and dust settled and so on, after you won the championship, and then you have X number of days preparing now for your game, which of course is Saturday afternoon at 5 o'clock. So what are the procedures there, how you handle it? It's not like you haven't been through this before, though, this routine.
Well, I don't know if you ever have it figured out. You just go with your gut a little bit. Obviously, Monday's a recovery day, recovery from just exhausting, tired weekend, playing Saturday, playing Sunday, and it's not only the physical part of it, but it's all and the work that you have to do as coaches and players, but it's also the emotion that goes out, the emotion that gets extended to a highest form, and then you have to, you have to bounce back from it, and then you get all the. Nick Saban would call it rat poison, okay? But we're not going to call it rat poison. But you get all the applause and recognition and well wishes, and which you certainly appreciate. But that can get you out of sync too, and so you need Monday and Tuesday. We had a little bit of a practice, not very long, just to try to get back on track a little bit. And then Wednesday we had some good workouts, a good practice, and had today off to rest. Hopefully we have 2 games this weekend, hopefully, and tomorrow we'll have a good practice and try to zero in on Fayetteville and try to lock in our preparation on them tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, we've, as we said, been through this situation before, but you can't take anything for granted. If you won 20 games, or if you won, like you did, your team 29 games, the old cliche, we're all 0-0 now.
Absolutely. If you remember, UMBC, a 20-plus point favorite over underdog to Virginia a couple of years ago, upset them in the round. So all these teams are very good. You don't win 20 games unless you know how to win, unless you have talented players. So they're all good. There's a lot of equality in this tournament.
Well, that scared me. Okay.
We're all good.
Somebody called a timeout. We're good. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you've been mentioned, but you're right.
It was an inadvertent whistle, Jack. We call it in coaching. We call it an inadvertent whistle. So
I love that.
So, but everybody's very capable, and the whole thing is you just got to try to figure out a way to win each game, and you might win one by playing great offense, you might win one by defense, you might win one by rebounding, but you got to find ways to win, and it's very touch and go. I remember we were a 1 seed back in 2010, and we just eked by Fairmont in the last possession at that time, and then went on, to go to the Elite 8 that year, and but our season could have very well ended there. So, there's a lot of variables that go into every game, and you just hope you can. We're just staying grateful that we're even getting a chance to play.
This has to be the most unusual year that all teams had to deal with, and particularly with IUP, because of the situation not only with COVID. A couple of games can't even play with fans, before fans, and then we had some death in the families of some players and injury to Shondell. I mean, the whole thing. It's just remarkable that these players have reacted and come together the way they have.
Yeah, they've been a special group, and I've mentioned it before. This is probably the most gratifying regular season championship and PSAC championship that I've been involved with. You don't like to try to weigh one against the other. They're all so feel so privileged for them all, but no one's had to deal with more over a longer time period. It was a 2-year journey. Keeping guys encouraged and believing last year, these guys had a lot of. They fought through it. They never gave up on the program. Sometimes in those situations, kids can leave, good players can leave because they're saying, "Hey, other conferences, other schools are playing. Why aren't we playing?" But they kept believing in the program and the institution and the program, and that was a big start. Okay, and then getting our culture back of working was another big start, and just the little hurdles. So that comes with an extra gratification.
Mm-hmm. We talked about, you and I have talked before about how difficult it was to win a division, first of all, which was probably as tough as we've seen in a long time. Then you've got to deal with these teams for the conference championship. 3 championships in a row. We got to go back to the days of John Chaney and Chaney way back when they won like 5 in a row, and we're talking decades there. So this is quite an accomplishment.
Well, thank you, Jack. We appreciate that acknowledgement, and for these kids, especially like for Monty, who's been there for all 3 of them. Mm-hmm. Back in the Chaney days, he was probably the best coach ever to coach in the PSAC, and you remember how that worked. They just had a title game. It was like football. Those years where they did win 5 in a row. They didn't have a tournament. It wasn't people. You had to win. You win one game. You won the best team in the East, play the best team in the West, and there wasn't opportunity for upset or to get upset. So, but that was what was that, the 70s?
That was they won the national championship in '78. Yeah, late '70s.
That was probably their string of 5 PSAC championships in a row. So, we understand. But we also understand that, we've been blessed in a lot of ways, okay, and a lot of people supporting us. And, this community that we have out here in Indiana with their support in so many ways, whether it's financial support, whether it's moral support, is incredible. It's not better in any place in Division II, and a lot of better, more support than a lot of Division I programs. So our success all goes back to that and starts with that, and then the support of the institution, it plays a big, coaches, administrations, and communities win championships. Coaches just kind of steer the boat. Okay, they give you the boat to drive, and then it's like, okay, we give you the boat now. Now take it to its destination. Mm-hmm. So that's how I look at that a lot.
Well, Fayetteville State, the Broncos, the CIAA champions, your opponents. You've looked at them. Give me a scouting report. Give the fans a scouting report of what you can to this point of their CIAA. They hadn't won a conference championship since way back when, and they came through when they had to. So what about this team?
Yeah, they're battle tested. I mean, the CIAA is a big time tournament when they play it. For those people that don't know, all the schools must have the weekend off or the week off. Every school in the CIAA, they play at one site. Okay. And I don't know. There's about 10,000 people there, maybe more. But it's a real big deal. It's a whole week long. They have band competitions and all kind of stuff. Okay, so for those schools, it's unique. It's better than half the Division I tournaments. Okay, so the competitions really, you get battle tested. I think when they're in that. So Fayetteville State played a lot of half-court man. They're one of the, I think in the country they're top 30 type team in defensive statistics. Okay, so they're a really good defensive team, and on offense they got a couple guards that can score at a lot of different levels. Okay, which when we say on all different levels, it's at the rim, pull up jump shots, 3-point shots. Mm-hmm. So we'll have to do a good job of containing those. But they kind of play a lot like us. So it's something that it's not something that that's unique. That we got to really do extra preparation because we haven't seen this before. So. We're looking forward to the challenge. A lot of these guys, again, what are we playing? Five freshmen, six first-year players at times. Okay, so they've never been to an NCAA tournament. They've never won an NCAA game. This is an exciting time for them to be able to compete in one and play in one. And you try to tell them it's no different than any other game, but it is different. It is different. I mean, I don't really. Some people want to say, well, it's no different than any other game. I don't go that route with coaches. It's different. You have to adapt to the difference. Okay, is how I try to approach it with them, and and you have to be able to adapt during the course of the game, with all your emotions or with the attention and with the expectations and stuff like that.
Talking about the Broncos, 21-8, is there any team then that you've played this year that would have any similarities to them? Because you're talking about a half-court game. I see their stats. They only average 66 points, great defense. Is there anybody along the way?
That's a good question, Jack. It's hard to pinpoint. Mercyhurst is probably the next best defensive team we played all year. I'd have to say Millersville. I'd have to say they compare a lot to Millersville. That would be the closest thing as far as playing half-court man defense, and Millersville had very good defensive year. Okay, as far as their concepts, their athletes. And then on the offensive end, they get off the dribble a lot and space the floor, and that's probably similar to Millersville also.
Millersville is a very physical team. A lot of physical teams in there. Statistics.
Yeah, they let you play a little bit when you get to PSACs, and I imagine they're going to let you play in the NCAA tournament.
You think so?
Yeah, you're going to have to fight through some what might be a foul in the regular season. You're going to have to get through that, and I think the games this weekend, the officials did a good job. They let both. They were, when you say did a good job, it's all about consistency. I thought they were consistent on both ends of the floor. We were physical with the other teams, and Ship and Millersville, and they were physical with us, and so those are things that players have to adapt to, and maybe this past weekend helped us a little bit more for this tournament.
All right, Coach Joe Lombardi with us. The tournament, by the way, gets underway at noon with California playing Fairmont State. Then West Lib against West Virginia State, and then the IUP game with Fayetteville State, and then the late game will be Mercyhurst and Millersville in their rematch. They liked the KCAC in Indiana so much, they figure, let's come back and play again.
Yeah, you're on that topic. I wish the NCAA could do something about that. I mean, I know you can't move seeds around too far, but you have your 1 and your 2 seeds, and they should get to 7 and 8, okay? But then when you go 3 through 6, I think you throw them in a hat, and I don't think anybody's going to be upset about it. Okay, you throw them in a hat, and you try to put at least one team outside of our conference in that second game. I think it makes for better basketball. I think teams would prefer that. Meaning, as I'm saying that, okay, so now maybe Fairmont's instead of 4 or 5 Millersville, Mercyhurst, maybe you put Fairmont in the 6th spot or West Virginia State in the 6th spot, and you move one, you flip the 5 in the 6th, and because they're dealing with it on the other side too. I mean, you got West Lib playing West Virginia State for maybe the 4th time.
Yeah, that's right.
And I really don't think there's disparity sometimes between the first 2 and the last 2, but then once you get into the middle 4, they ought to have more flexibility. But they didn't ask my opinion, and they're not, the committee didn't call and ask me on how to do that, but it's been a problem for years. To be honest with you, a couple of years ago it was kind of insane that we played Westchester and then Mercyhurst to win the PSAC, and then a week later we're playing Westchester and Mercyhurst. It's like deja vu, and it really plays. I'm sure those teams didn't want to see us, and we didn't want to see them again. Okay, our guys, it just doesn't make for like an NCAA experience. It's like, can we move on from the conference? Can we actually play in a tournament where we're playing? Obviously you can't play national because of budget constraints. Okay, at our level, all right. But if you can't play national, at least can we get another league? Okay, so there's a little rant and rave. You could send that to the NCAA. You know what? The first time around, I didn't make much of a deal about it, but I guess I have to speak a little louder for those in the back.
Okay. I know where you're coming from. Hey, we're going to be back with more. We're in a special edition of Hawk Talk with Coach Joe Lombardi, and we'll talk with the coach a little bit more about some other things that we have in mind for the tournament coming up. A great time in Indiana, the community, the region, for what's going on. It's just a thrilling time. And we'll return with more coming to you on U92Radio.com, and you can catch us on U92 Facebook. We'll be back right after this. Time out.
This is Attorney Patrick Doherty. Do you need legal help? The Law Office of Patrick Doherty specializes in criminal law, wills, and personal injury. Visit my office at 737 Water Street in Indiana and let me put my years of experience to work.
The Indiana County Center for Economic Operations congratulates the IUP men's and women's basketball teams and wishes the Crimson Hawks the best of luck in the NCAA tournament. Each and every day, the Indiana County Center for Economic Operations makes a commitment to every business in Indiana County and the region. They have a searchable properties database that includes available business parks and pad-ready sites. For more information, visit IndianaCountyCEO.com. That's IndianaCountyCEO.com. Let's go, Crimson Hawks!
This is Attorney Patrick Doherty. Do you need legal help? The Law Office of Patrick Doherty specializes in criminal law, wills, and personal injury. Visit my office at 737 Water Street in Indiana and let me put my years of experience to work.
And welcome back to our special edition of Hawk Talk from the C.H. Fields Craft Kitchen here at the Hilton Garden Inn, with the regional tournament on Saturday with 4 big games, and then semifinal on Sunday. Championship game will be on Tuesday. Coach Joe Lombardi with me right here. I have a couple of questions from fans, but I just wanted to ask you, first of all, health-wise of the team. We've been battling all kinds of injuries. I'm sure most of the teams have throughout this year, but how you set for the first game?
I think it's as healthy as we've been, unless I get someone hurt in practice tomorrow, Jack.
Well, hopefully that doesn't happen.
I know. At this time of the year, you always want to. You wonder, like, okay, I got to get them ready, but how much contact do I want to put guys in, and things like that. Yeah, I think we're pretty healthy. I mean, Armani still has a number of nagging injuries, stuff like that, and Tommy's ankle, is still working its way back a little bit, but might not be 100%. But I think he'll be fine. And Kyle's not 100% with his knee, but he's gonna play. He's gonna be in the game in the first 10 minutes of the game, and get back into we'll still start Dallas. But he's going to get back into the rotation and bring us the energy that he brings us.
Yep, that'd be great. A couple of questions here from the fans. They knew we were going to do this, so I got the text. One is, Coach, was it difficult switching from an offensive team early in the year to what has become a defensive team? Although it sure would be nice to get a whole lot more points sometimes.
No, what was hard was accepting that we were an offensive-focused team. That was hard. Okay, we've always focused on defense. It's probably if you had to prioritize them, that's probably been one more than the other. So, when you do play fast and you play like we were playing earlier in the year, you're going to give up some defensive things. Okay, that you can't do both. I don't think. You just got to say, being really good at offense outweighs the slippage in the defensive end. And then it's a sacrifice, it's a takeaway. So, no, it kind of wasn't difficult. We just some guys were going to have to play more minutes when Sean Dale went down, and then we had some other injuries, and some guys were going to have to play more minutes. So that doesn't allow you to play as fast, okay? You can't use a lot of energy pushing the ball up the floor and not being able to compete on defense. So that was part of it. I don't think it's by design. I just think, especially lately, we've played really good defensive teams. I mean, the credit goes to Shippensburg. They're very well coached, and the credit goes to Millersville. They're very well coached, and you start playing them second, third time around, it makes it hard to score, and then the officials start letting people play a little bit, makes it harder to score. And the same thing on our end. Those things have helped us in a way, officials letting them play. Being able to be familiar with teams, we've become, in some ways, harder to score on because of that. So I think it's a combination of those two.
Well, it seems like, as we've watched here through the year, and the players developing, that you have more depth this year. You know, KJ has come in. I could go on and on about, you know, the players that have come off the bench that have produced at different times, and you really have a six-man starting lineup, so more depth. It appears this way.
Yeah, I think the injuries have created that. And what happens, Jack, is sometimes early in the year you give a guy like, say there's no injuries, and you give KJ some minutes, and he doesn't, but you don't give him an opportunity to fail. You give him an opportunity to play, but not to fail, because then it's easier to go back to the other guys. But when you're injured and you kind of say, okay, we have to, and I just want to say KJ, but whether it's KJ or Bryce or whoever else is getting in there, you kind of have to give them an opportunity to fail. And when you give someone an opportunity to fail, then they grow in confidence because they eventually find some success, okay? And it kind of allows you to feel like, these guys can, and their confidence grows, and then they actually play better. And then when they play better, then it's easier for you to feel comfortable with them out on the floor. So it's a double-edged sword, and it's always hard being a role player and playing limited minutes, and you got small opportunities here and there, and sometimes it's not always your best players that can play those minutes the best. Sometimes lesser players can play those minutes the best because they're more comfortable. They can find a greater comfort zone in that transition.
It's going to be tough for some of these players that come to the college ranks from maybe after being a star in high school, so to speak. Then they've got to make that transition all of a sudden. They got to be a bench player, a role player. That's going to be tough.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, Bryce was a fabulous scorer in high school, and he played what we call a green light, okay? So he only shot it when he had it in high school, okay?
Nicely put.
And so now you come and, you're not the best offensive player on the floor, and you got other good offensive players, so you got to be a little bit more selective. And it can be a tough transition. It can be a tough transition. And, I think Bryce he's done a good job, and some other guys have done a good job, but we really have a lot of guys that fit. It's about fitting the pieces together, Jack. I used it before, okay? You need some piano players if you're going to put together a good band, Walt, right? But you also need somebody to carry the piano in, okay, or help the piano, support the piano player. You need a good tuner. My brother-in-law tunes pianos in Florida, okay, and so you need all those people making it. You don't need a fourth piano player, a fifth guy that's great at playing the piano. You need pieces to complement, and sometimes one guy might be a better player if you were building your team around that guy, okay? But if you just need a piece in the puzzle that's going to complement your bigger, your bigger scorers, say, okay? So sometimes that piece is just who can play defense the best and move the ball the best and do this the best, not necessarily who can really score the most. So it's always been about finding a blend. As a coach, I like that challenge of, okay, we've always had piano players, okay? I like the challenge of, okay, how can we mold this team so all the parts together, the whole's greater than all the parts together.
Let me ask you one more here. A fan said, Coach, who do you think improved the most as the season progressed? Who improved the most? And I guess they're speaking about a certain player. Anybody in particular?
Well, first of all, the propensity to improve the most usually lies in your younger players, okay? Because they go from having no role to some role, and then sometimes to a bigger role, okay? So, two of the freshmen that stand out are probably with the greatest strides are probably Tomawa and then Dallas. Tomawa blossomed with when he got a little bit more opportunity. He blossomed. He had some success, and he grew in confidence. And then Dallas is Bloom went from being grew into a butterfly, okay, all right, and came out of his shell there. And, I think he's a different dimension. Like, the first time we played Ship, they didn't guard him at all. They let him just stand over there in the corner and said, if you want to make a shot, go ahead. And this time he had to be accounted for. So, their development is kind of lifted our whole team up with their improvement.
All right, I'm going to ask you one more. We have a couple of other guests we're going to get in here, but we're going to talk about what this talk with Laura coming from the Indiana County Tourist Bureau here shortly, and also representative from IUP. What this all means, it's more than basketball. I mean, for Indiana, Pennsylvania, can be on the map with a regional tournament like this, and we missed it before, but we made up for it this time. Thank goodness. It means a lot, though.
Yeah, it means a lot, and you know, one of the reasons I'm excited about it is because we never have the success as a team if it's not for everybody in the community that helps us and supports us and pulls for us. And it's a nice way to say thank you for doing that. Let's provide a PSAC championship type atmosphere. Let's provide a NCAA tournament. Okay, that's our success in a way is our thank you to those people, because we don't have any of this without them. And so that's exciting for me to bring, to have our team be on display and bring this to Indiana. And it's not like it's going to be, the Final Four in San Antonio or New Orleans, okay? But there will be be a little bit of a bump to the community, and not only economically, but just a pride thing too, I hope. So I'm grateful for that.
No question about it. Coach, thanks for joining us again. Good luck. You're going to be with us again tomorrow morning on our 1160 WCCS, and we'll sneak in on Todd Marino's show there, and we'll talk a little bit more about what's going on.
Appreciate you having me on there, and we look forward to seeing everybody out this weekend.
You bet.
Thank you, Jack.
Coach Joe Lombardi, we're back with more. We have a couple of other guests coming up here on Hawk Talk from the Hilton Garden Inn. We'll be back right after we take this time out.
This is Attorney Patrick Doherty. Do you need legal help? The Law Office of Patrick Doherty specializes in criminal law, wills, and personal injury. Visit my office at 737 Water Street in Indiana and let me put my years of experience to work for you.
Happy 76th anniversary, Bruno's Restaurant, and to celebrate the new Bruno's drive-thru specials are even better. On Tuesdays, enjoy chicken Alfredo or Parmesan. Wednesdays features Bruno's famous lasagna or spaghetti and meatballs, and Thursday is rigatoni or sausage Parmesan. Plus, all 3 days offer manicotti, too. All meals have large portions that come with salad, roll, and dessert for only $12. Your dinner choice is an easy one with Bruno's $12 drive-thru specials. Bruno's Italian Restaurant on the 1100 block of Philadelphia Street in downtown Indiana.
This is Attorney Patrick Doherty. Do you need legal help? The Law Office of Patrick Doherty specializes in criminal law, wills, and personal injury. Visit my office at 737 Water Street in Indiana and let me put my years of experience to work.
Welcome back, everybody, to Hawk Talk. Jack Benedict here. We're live from the Hilton Garden Inn. I have Eric McCabe with me right now. He is the Director of Athletic Facilities and Events. That's a long title, but also we're going to add to it, Eric, because you're the Atlantic Regional Tournament Director. And you got a lot to do, don't you?
I do, Jack. It is pretty busy. Thank you for having me. This is exciting. I was formerly at another PSAC school, Bloomsburg University, before I came here.
Oh, sure.
And we didn't have anything this exciting happen to us there. So,
well, they got a lot of good people. I know a lot of good people at Bloomsburg down through the years, and we're glad to have you along. From your particular job as a facilities director, what about the magnitude here in hosting a tournament like this?
Wow, Jack, this is the biggest thing I ever helped put together. But it's not myself. It's the the KCAC staff. Marianne, Cam, Amy. They all do a great job. It's working with all the other constituents on campus. It's working with Ryan Rebholz, Todd, Sam. It's a big team effort and a lot of planning that goes into planning something this big.
Yeah, it does. A lot of people don't realize behind the scenes what it takes. It takes a lot. The bidding process, a lot of people wonder, whenever the fans about the bidding process for a tournament. What does the NCAA, what does it look for?
Well, the easy answer, Jack, is winning.
Okay.
So that's the easy answer. The first the first seed, the first person in a region, gets the right to host no matter what. All teams who think they may get that position are able to submit a bid. The bidding process opens in late January by the NCAA, and it closes the week before the conference tournament. So what this includes is a lot of looking at the budget. The budget's basically the biggest thing. You have probably 20 line items you have to account for. And the NCAA likes to make money. So
It's the bottom line.
being profitable, having the great support of the community that IUP has, that's very helpful in submitting a positive bid.
Well, this year, I can remember it went right down to the wire with West Liberty, IUP, everybody was talking about, okay, strength of schedule, this and that. Both teams end up 29-2. Both have, they have a great facility down there. Now, of course, KCAC is the best, but from the standpoint, there are a lot of things that go in. Is there any particular thing that separated these two great universities?
Jack, you mentioned a lot about the metrics, and there's like 5 or 6 metrics, the RPI that goes into looking, at how far the teams are apart. I think it could have been the flip of a coin. I know, talking with our sports information director, Ryan Rebholz, when looking at those matrices, they were only off from one another by like 1/10 of a point. It was that close. In my own opinion, I think we had a great showing in the PSAC championship, and West Liberty struggled a little bit with Fairmont State.
You mean the play of the team and not necessarily attendance?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Attendance, I don't think is a huge figure in depending which site will host, because
Mm-hmm.
if West Liberty had us beat in a matrix or so, they would have earned the right.
Well, a lot of people, a lot of fans, and I'll throw this in. They look through the course of the season and they talk about national ranking, but in the bottom line is that's not as important as what happens in the region and how you win in the region.
Absolutely. And I have a lot of outside experience in other divisions. I never knew what regions were until I came to Division II. So it's something extraordinary. Division II is it's very special when it comes to athletics.
So how about your previous background in Division I? Where did that come from?
Yeah, so I got my undergrad at St. Francis, PA, worked there with women's basketball, got my first opportunity to work in college athletic administration at Bucknell University, was there for several years in a multitude of positions. And then I also spent time working for women's basketball at East Carolina University before ultimately making my way back to Central PA, where my family's from.
So you wanted to come back home.
I did.
Pennsylvania, right?
I did.
All right. Now, we put this show together. That I didn't. I just show up and do what I'm supposed to do. We always talk about sponsorship, no matter where it is, and corporate sponsors, that sort of thing. That plays a big role. That's a big part of it.
It does. Luckily at our level, we do not have to take down or cover up a lot of the sponsorships. The biggest factor is, being in the state system, we're a Pepsi-sponsored school, and the NCAA is a Coke-sponsored school. So we have to have Coke products versus Pepsi products at the tournament.
Okay, yeah. So it boils down, well, we know that sponsorship is a big thing.
Yes.
Yep, it is. And fortunately, we have enough. We'd like to have more to go around. But if you'd like to jump on board, just give us a call. How about interaction with the incoming teams? We have teams that are coming in here tonight, as a matter of fact, and are coming in for the tournament, which begins on Saturday. Hotels, meals, things along that line. What's the background on that?
Yeah, so as the tournament director, I'm in charge of putting the manual together. We have to get blocks of room for the hotels. We assign the teams the hotels. I believe quite a few of them are staying here over the course of the tournament. And I am their key contact here with IUP. Practices start tomorrow. I'll be around, make sure everybody gets to where they need to be. If they have problems, I'm the guy to come up with a solution.
Well, fortunately for me, I've been with the team for a long time and being in other tournaments in other states and wherever the case may be. And I know that just setting up from your standpoint, practice times. You got all these teams. Okay, how does that go? What do you do? Flip a coin and say you go at 10 o'clock, you go at 1 o'clock. How does that work?
So one thing about the practice times is they're giving teams additional time. A year or so ago, it was 55 to 60 minutes. Now each team's getting 85 minutes.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The nice thing about that is the NCAA provides a template of when teams are going to practice shoot around, and it's all based off your seed.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I know before where I remember the 55-minute. As soon as you hit the floor, they run the clock.
Exactly. If you're late, that clock starts, and you have what's left.
You've lost. Okay. The NCAA, and of course we're talking about the whole country here. And Division II is a big product. It's not what Division I is, but still, it's a great product. If the fans come out and they've seen the athletes, they know. How about an NCAA rep? How about our particular region?
Yep. So we are lucky to have serve as our NCAA rep the head coach from Bowie State, Coach Darrell Brooks. I believe he's coming in tonight, so he'll be around with us at practice tomorrow.
We're familiar with him too because IUP has played Bowie State, and looking at some of the background of the Fayetteville State coach, he coached for 9-10 years at Bowie State. So he was very familiar. In fact, I think they were a Final Four back in, well, I know they went 30-5 back in 2003 or 4 or whatever.
Okay.
So there's some background there with with Bowie State being involved. How is a regional director like that, a representative of NCAA? How is he picked? How do they choose?
There is a men's basketball committee. Mm-hmm. And it's a volunteer basis. So he serves as the rep for the Atlantic region on the whole overall committee.
Let me ask you about officials from the standpoint of how they're chosen and how they're graded throughout the year. Mm-hmm. How does that all come about?
Well, I can't tell you much about Jack. It's very secretive when it comes to the NCAA regional tournament. Teams for the first game, they're told an hour before who they're getting, mm-hmm. and the games after that, they're told a half hour before.
So we see familiar faces.
We should,
yeah, and which is good. And once in a while, you see someone else, but that's good too. I think that's great too. All in all, this is really an exciting time for everybody involved. And I know in looking at the teams, Coach Lombardi said, you can take your number 1 seed, you can take your number 8 maybe, but everybody in between is pretty well matched. You could just jumble them up. I don't think it will make a difference.
Oh, I was thinking the same thing myself. Especially when you look at the reputation that these conferences have, and you're absolutely right. You could flip a coin.
Is there anything that you wanted to bring about with fans coming in and things that fans should know? We had the mask situation that was invoked. We had no fans for a while. All of that has changed somewhat. Anything that the fans should know?
Masks are still, optional if fans want to do that. They're more than happy to, but they're not mm-hmm. they're not required for this event. We're working very hard to produce the best environment we can for the student athletes and the fans alike.
There is a re-entry rule too, right?
That is correct. When you purchase your ticket for that day, if you leave, you'd have to come back and purchase another ticket. There's no re-entry.
Well, from what I see, $20 for 4 games, that's a pretty good deal.
That's a bargain.
Especially the level of play. I don't know if some fans realize the talent of athletes that we see in Division II. And I know over the years, and there's nothing against players, I can pick out players from years ago that were great players, and how it has evolved to where now it's just unbelievable how good they are.
Oh, absolutely. I know a lot of these teams, especially in the conferences we have here for the region, could hold their own with probably quite a few Division I schools.
Eric McCabe with us here. We thank him for coming along, the Director of Athletics, Facilities, and Events. He's the Atlantic Region Tournament Director. Eric, it's been great sitting in here with you. See you all the time over there. I guess they're switching me from one place to the other, but
sorry about that.
You know what? No, that's fine, because I get in free. And you know what? It's not even a job. It's so much fun when we see these teams, and having IUP as the host. And I know I'm anxious to see some of the other teams that have come in. It's great too. I think with IUP, as Coach Lombardi had mentioned, of playing another team from another conference.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, every conference has their own little way that they play the game, and I think it's going to be a great matchup. The whole tournament.
Yeah, it's nice we could start off with someone we're not familiar with, someone we haven't played just a few days ago.
The other thing I just wanted to mention, the people that work at the KCAC, it's amazing what they do. And I know I've talked with Marianne, like a lot of places, short staff this year. They do a great job, don't they?
They are a pleasure to work with day in and day out. They go above and beyond and do all they can for us.
Thanks, Eric, for stopping by. Appreciate it. Hope you had fun.
Thank you, Jack. Jack, I think my family's watching at home. Can I say hi to my family?
Sure, absolutely.
Hi, Sadie, Callie, and Corin. I'll be home soon.
Okay, he'll be home soon. No, you count on that. Thanks, Eric. All right, we'll be back, and we've got another special guest for you coming up as we return with our special edition of Hawk Talk right here at the Hilton Garden Inn, back after this timeout.
C.H. Field's Craft Kitchen in the Hilton Garden Inn is this area's best-kept secret. Stop in for breakfast, lunch, dinner, happy hour, or for their post-game specials. Make your reservations for C.H. Field's Craft Kitchen in the Hilton Garden Inn at chfields.com. The Hilton Garden Inn is the preferred hotel of IUP Athletics. Located next to Miller Stadium and the KCAC, the Hilton Garden Inn is Indiana's newest and best hotel. Make your reservations today at hiltongardeninn.com. The Indiana County Center for Economic Operations congratulates the IUP men's and women's basketball teams and wishes the Crimson Hawks the best of luck in the NCAA tournament. Each and every day, the Indiana County Center for Economic Operations makes a commitment to every business in Indiana County and the region. They have a searchable properties database that includes available business parks and pad-ready sites. For more information, visit IndianaCountyCEO.com. That's IndianaCountyCEO.com. Let's go, Crimson Hawks!
The Co-op store has the largest selection of IUP gifts and apparel. The Co-op is always there with its convenient location and hours. The Co-op store has been serving IUP and the Indiana community since 1933, and all profits are returned to the students through campus programs and activities. The Co-op has all your campus needs from the dorm to the classroom. Visit us online at www.iupstore.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Jack Benedict here. We're live with a special Hawk Talk show from the C.H. Fields Craft Kitchen at the Hilton Garden Inn. Thanks to Coach Lombardi. Thanks to Eric McCabe. And we have Laura Harrington with me right now. She is the Executive Director of the Indiana County Tourist Bureau. So glad to have you along.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure.
You're all decked out.
Sure.
You have your PSAC conference. We got the
Go Hawks.
There we go. We've got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Laura, I know you've been with the Tourist Bureau for quite a while, and then you took over not too long ago for Denise Liggett, and this has got to be an exciting time for the Tourist Bureau, too, with all this going on in the region. Tell us about your thoughts from that standpoint.
It's an amazing time, truly an exciting time. I think you used thrilling. So we could go on and on about that. But first of all, I want to say nobody takes over for Denise. I just accompanied her for several years, so we worked side by side. But I was at the Tourist Bureau when with the last tournament, the NCAA came to town, and then you know what happened there. But this is so exciting, and wonderful to bring the community together, to something to rally around. It's emotional, it's fun, and exciting.
And it means a lot to the fans in a lot of ways. And how about the economic end of it when we take a look at the county and actually a little beyond in the region?
Without a doubt, a huge economic impact to our county and the region. Our restaurants, our hotels have been working so hard over the past couple years and just tirelessly working. So now all their hard work is going to pay off because their level of commitment to our community, serving our community, has been fantastic. And so welcoming all these visitors into our town is great.
Last year, to put it bluntly, was a bummer.
I would agree.
I think we were all ready for something, and there was nothing. And here it would have been both the women and the men's tournament. But we're kind of going to make up for it this year, don't you think?
I do. I think so. Let's go. And this town's going to be hopping. I've been out talking with the hotels, with the restaurateurs, and everybody's ready to go and serve our community. I hope that the community gets out and can come to some of the games. It's an opportunity that doesn't come around a lot, but I really liked how Coach Lombardi was referring to the team as a puzzle.
Yeah.
I love that visual of the puzzle, and I had to think about that for a minute because with our community, we all have our own individual responsibilities or focus, if you will, but when we all come together and we shine in our own individual responsibilities, then we fit together like a great puzzle, and that is Indiana County.
Yeah, exactly right. Are there any special type promotions planned through the Tourist Bureau during this time?
Oh, sure. We have a great announcement on our website. We have hopefully that the visitors will come in. They'll see the welcoming banners that are in the hotel lobbies.
First thing that hit me when I walked in the front door, yeah.
Good. And we even have a QR code on the banner so that if somebody wants to find out some more information about what to do, if they're not at a game, they can scan the QR code, take them to our website. The Indiana County website is visit.indianacountypa.org. And there's so much going on. I just came from a great fundraiser. This community is very active, and we're back to events, and this is almost like the kickoff to that for us.
Well, we're starting over. Yeah, the hoops, the beginning. Let me ask you this. So let's say that I'm a visitor to Indiana County, and I'm a basketball fan, but also I want to find out what Indiana County is all about. So what do I look at? Some other things, like I think you have a museum that's pretty famous.
We absolutely
do. And more, But some of the things that you would let me know where I should go in between time.
Oh, sure. So the Crimson Hawks are our hometown heroes, but we also have a famous hometown hero in Jimmy Stewart. So absolutely, the Jimmy Stewart Museum is a must-see while you're in town. We've got a bustling Philadelphia street with art galleries, coffee shops, and boutiques for shopping. We've got a fantastic outdoor recreation with the 64 miles of rails to trails. Hoodlebug Trail is right along campus if somebody wants to get out and get some exercise. It's a nice, easy trail to hike or bike on.
Well, the other thing I'm thinking of, and I hate to think of this with the impending snow coming, but it's going to look like Bedford Falls, if you know what I mean.
Maybe that's not a bad thing.
That's not a bad thing, because I've worked in downtown Indiana for a long time, and it's a beautiful setup. And I have a friend who is from the Wheeling area, and in the West Liberty and the Wheeling Universe, and he loved Jimmy Stewart, and he said, I got to come up there. I said, when you do, we'll show you, we'll take you over to the museum, and we'll go from there. But all in all, it's just tremendous what is happening. I'm so glad that you could join us here, and we could talk about it. Anything with a parting remark or so that you'd like to have?
Well, I was sitting here listening, and I was just reminded to one of our past commissioners, Ruddick, when he would say, Indiana proud. Indiana County proud.
Well, knowing Rod as I do, we were battery mates one time with a pitch and catch at Three River Stadium way back when. The old pitcher there. That's well put by Rod. Yeah. Thanks, Laura. Appreciate it. And we've just had a great time here, and enjoy as the rest of us will for the next. Let's hope right through next Tuesday. Okay.
Yes, we'll be here.
Yep. Okay.
Go Indiana.
Here we go. We'll go out with the pom-pom. I'm going to take one more break, be back, and we're going to talk about the women of IUP who are on the road at Glenville State, and we'll tell you all about that and recap what's going to be coming up as far as the tournament here in town. Thanks to Laura Harrington from the Indiana County Tourist Bureau, and we'll return right after this time out to Hawk Talk on U92.5 and also the U92 Facebook page.
Happy 76th anniversary, Bruno's Restaurant, and to celebrate the new Bruno's drive-thru specials are even better. On Tuesdays, enjoy chicken Alfredo or Parmesan. Wednesdays features Bruno's famous lasagna or spaghetti and meatballs, and Thursday is rigatoni or sausage Parmesan. Plus, all 3 days offer manicotti, too. All meals have large portions that come with salad, roll, and dessert for only $12. Your dinner choice is an easy one with Bruno's $12 drive-thru specials. Bruno's Italian Restaurant on the 1100 block of Philadelphia Street in downtown Indiana.
The Indiana County Center for Economic Operations congratulates the IUP men's and women's basketball teams and wishes the Crimson Hawks the best of luck in the NCAA tournament. Each and every day, the Indiana County Center for Economic Operations makes a commitment to every business in Indiana County and the region. They have a searchable properties database that includes available business parks and pad-ready sites. For more information, visit IndianaCountyCEO.com. That's IndianaCountyCEO.com. Let's go, Crimson Hawks!
This is Attorney Patrick Doherty. Do you need legal help? The Law Office of Patrick Doherty specializes in criminal law, wills, and personal injury. Visit my office at 737 Water Street in Indiana and let me put my years of experience to work.
All right, we're in the home stretch here, our special edition of Hawk Talk, as we've been talking about the regional here in Indiana, and with IUP hosting with the men's side. And Mark Berg is with me right now, and he is going to be headed to Glenville, West Virginia, where the IUP ladies of Coach Tom McConnell and company, and we wish them the best of luck, are going to be in action. So, Mark, that's going to be an interesting tournament, I'm sure.
I know that road to West Virginia. I know the road to Glenville, Jack.
I know you do.
Had quite the run and enjoyable stay, even though there are no hotels very close to Glenville State University. You have to head back this winding road about 20 miles, and I think you've been there, I-79, and then you find some hotel action. But, hey, if it's like it was a 2018, 2019 season, we'll take it. And one thing we know, that the one similarity from 2018-19 to this 2021-22 season is Kel swept the regular season matchups, and then at the regional, IUP knocked them off when it counted most.
I remember telling Coach McConnell, I said, I remember one year when IUP didn't win the conference championship, but won the regional. He said, I'm going to use that, I think. And, beneficial for the players. They did it.
In 2019, 61-56 Kel, and then at the KCAC in February, about a month later, exactly, February 23rd, 73-65 Kel. And then the two teams ended up meeting in the Atlantic Regional Championship game. Mm-hmm. And I believe you made the trip. You were back and forth a couple of times.
Yeah.
And IUP won the regional championship 68-60 over Kel and advanced to the Elite Eight in Columbus, Ohio. So we'll see.
Yep.
It's a different team. I'm not suggesting that this year's IUP ladies are the caliber of that 2018-19 season, but it's all about being healthy, getting hot at the right time. They've certainly had enough time off. The two matchups in the regular season, 62-46 Kel. That was disappointing. What was the date? January 31st at Kel. I did that game actually because of the COVID situation.
That was a makeup.
Yep, that was a makeup, and the men were playing the same night. Mm-hmm. And the middle two quarters just killed IUP in that game. They were outscored 29-13. But you look back to the game at the KOVALCHIK complex, it was a close game, 64-59. And California, a big fourth quarter, IUP looked like they had that game won. And they just couldn't find the basket and became disjointed, I think, coincided with me walking through the door. So sometimes I wonder, but if I'm a bad luck charm.
If one thing means anything with the other.
Yeah, but I mean, that was a game you called it.
Yeah,
could have been in the win column.
Could have definitely been in the win column. The tournament at Glenville, West Virginia, has the Glenville State, the number 1 seed, against Lincoln. They're number 8. Your game, IUP, Cal, our game, is at 2:30, and so you'll be on there at about 2 o'clock or so.
Correct.
On U92.5 and U92 Radio. Kutztown then plays Charleston. Gannon plays Shepherd. So, boy, there's so many familiar teams that we see in there.
Look what happened in the what's that conference called now? It's not West Virginia. It's the
the Mountain East?
Mountain East Conference.
East, yes.
Look what happened in the championship game. Glenville, undefeated, going to be an easy trip to a conference championship, and Charleston beats them. So
yeah, and fortunately for them, one game did not take them out. But now, as I mentioned with Coach Lombardi, and we all know, it's all 0-0.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if you won 29 or you won 20.
Well, that was a classic case too. That the old adage, it's tough to beat the same team 3 times in a row in the same season. IUP, they kind of avenged those 2 losses in 2019. Charleston beats Glenville State.
Glenville State.
So you just never know. I wouldn't be surprised if IUP plays very well.
I hope they will. I think they will. They've had a lot of time off, so you hope they get off to a good start. And I know covering with Justina Mascaro is 10 points away from 1,000 in her career, which includes Delaware. But that would be something in itself.
Let me put it this way: if she does not go over 1,000,
we're in trouble.
IUP's in trouble. 7th straight appearance in the tournament under Coach McConnell.
Yeah,
pretty amazing.
Coach McConnell has done a tremendous job, as Coach Lombardi has done, and we're so spoiled. I've been hearing that a lot, but we are about these teams. But you know what? There's nothing like it, especially when you have your men's and women's basketball teams throughout the season that are always like nationally ranked. And here they are, both in the playoff. There are some teams that would love to be playing now.
Well, that's for sure. Back to the men's tournament, I just hope that, I know the forecast is kind of weird on Saturday with the snow, but it's going to be warmer. I don't think it's going to be, might be several inches of snow if it holds, but I don't think the roads are going to be that bad because of the temperatures. I think it'll be easy to clear and keep the roads clear. So I hope the community supports the Hawks. They far and away lead the attendance in PSAC, and it would be nice to see. I heard you talking about the ticket deal, $20 all-day pass. I know over the weekend I just had a great time sitting back and watching a team that I think is loaded. And hopefully they'll play well, and the community will come out and support them.
Well, we want to thank the folks here at the Hilton Garden Inn. And
going back to September.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. And, we started off with a football season. We've been able to come up here, and here we are in mid-March. I think it's just tremendous. And so we want to thank our producer, John Smathers, Carrie Rayco, and to you, Mark, for all that you've done here. And
well, John does all the look at that. The maze of wires and everything he does. He does all the heavy lifting, loads it, unloads it, and
but he doesn't know where any of that stuff goes.
Side. I mean, I got him shelving. I don't know what else he wants.
All right, and thanks to our great sponsors, and of course our producer back at Renda Broadcasting, Danielle Pisarczyk. Be working with her again, and be sure to tune in for the women's game tomorrow at 2 o'clock on U92Radio.com and the sports channel, and then we'll have the coverage at home for you through the weekend, and hopefully we'll have double coverage. We'll see what happens, Mark.
Well, let's hope so.
You bet. For Mark Burdig and everybody else that we mentioned, thanks to the folks who joined us here, Joe and Eric and Laura, this is Jack Benedict, bidding you a very pleasant good evening.
Go Hawks.
My pom-pom.